A huge ancient city hidden underground in Mexico, which may give a better understanding of the Maya civilization.
What if our history is a lie? Not a small lie, but a colossal one, a deception hidden in plain sight for thousands of years in the jungles of Mesoamerica. For over a century, we've believed we deciphered the Mayan glyphs, telling us tales of ancient rulers and celestial events.
It's very precise. The Maya tools were just as precise, but they're a little harder to control.
But a revolutionary quantum AI has just reanalyzed them, and its discovery is chilling. The glyphs are a container for something else entirely, a message from an intelligence that is not from this world. Stay with us, and we'll show you the terrifying truth this AI has just exposed. When the serpent bites. It all started in a sterile, windowless lab buried deep in a facility in Veracruz, a place that officially doesn't exist.
The indigenous people of this area are the Totonacos, or in English, I guess it would be Totonac.
Here, a team of brilliant but secretive researchers was running a project codenamed Chimera. Their tool wasn't a pickaxe or a brush, but a humming network of supercomputers running a revolutionary quantum AI. Its mission? To do what humans couldn't. Fully and completely decipher the oldest and most enigmatic symbols in the Americas, the Olmec Glyphs. It's funny when you think about it. For years, we've been patting ourselves on the back for decoding about 90% of the later Mayan writing. We thought we understood their world of kings, calendars, and cosmic myths. But the Olmecs, the mysterious mother culture that came before the Maya, left behind carvings that have stumped experts for a century. They were the original mystery, the first whisper in the stone. The researchers believed that if the AI could crack the Olmec code, it would be the key to unlocking the final 10% of Mayan writing and everything else that followed. For months, the AI sifted through terabytes of data, 3D scans of colossal stone heads, intricate jade carvings, and weathered stelae. It analyzed every swirl, dot, and line, cross-referencing them with the roughly 800 known Mayan glyphs. It was looking for patterns, for the ghost of a language that had been silent for 3,000 years. The machine processed more information in a single hour than a team of archaeologists could in a lifetime. Get this, the Olmec civilization rose around 1500 BC and vanished mysteriously around 400 BC, leaving behind artifacts that weigh up to 50 tons, carved from volcanic basalt that was transported over 90 miles from its source. How they did it remains a complete mystery. Then on a Tuesday afternoon, the impossible happened. The lead programmer, a young genius named Dr. Eris Thorne, was monitoring the AI's progress when an alert popped up on his screen. It wasn't a translation, it was a notification that the AI had discovered a secondary layer of information embedded within the glyphs. It was, for lack of a better term, a code within the code. The team was stunned. They watched as the AI displayed two versions of the glyphs side by side. One was the familiar pictorial language. The other was something else entirely, a complex geometric pattern that seemed to shift and change, almost like it was alive. It was a language made of shapes and frequencies, not words. It wasn't human, not even close. For decades, experts like Tatiana Proskuriakov brilliantly proved that Mayan glyphs were historical records of rulers and wars, not just mystical mumbo-jumbo. They gave us a timeline, a history we could understand. This new discovery didn't just add to that timeline, it obliterated it. The AI explained that this hidden language was not designed to be read in a linear fashion from left to right or top to bottom. It was designed to be understood holographically, all at once. It was a massive data package, compressed into ancient symbols. It's wild when you stop and think about it. The ancient Olmecs, a people we assumed were a relatively simple, early civilization, may have been custodians of a technology far beyond our own. The AI reported that the complexity of this data structure was logarithmic, a system of information storage so efficient it would make a modern solid-state drive look like a clay tablet.
A royal archive containing thousands of clay tablets with cuneiform inscriptions.
The room was silent. The team looked at each other, a creeping sense of dread washing over them. They had set out to translate an ancient language. Instead, they had just received a message from something else. What they found next would turn that dread into pure terror. Not made by human hands. Here's the kicker. The data package unlocked by the quantum AI wasn't a history of the Olmec people. It wasn't a collection of myths or a record of their kings. It was a blueprint. A highly detailed, terrifyingly complex blueprint of the galaxy, solar system, and life itself. The AI began to render the information visually, and the researchers could only watch in horrified awe as star charts filled the screens. But these weren't the primitive star charts of an ancient civilization. They were perfect, multi-dimensional maps of our galactic neighborhood, showing the positions of stars and planets, not just as they were 3,000 years ago, but as they would be thousands of years in the future. The map even included celestial bodies that our own modern astronomy has only just discovered in the last decade, and some we haven't found yet. It gets even weirder. A significant portion of the data was dedicated to what the AI labeled resource maps. It detailed every major deposit of rare earth minerals on the planet, every deep ocean thermal vent, every vein of uranium with a precision that modern geological surveys are still struggling to achieve. It was a planetary instruction manual, a guide to Earth's most valuable and powerful resources. Why would a supposedly primitive civilization need or even have the ability to create such a thing? The answer was becoming terrifyingly clear. This manual wasn't written by them. It was written for them, or for someone else. But the most disturbing part of the blueprint was the biological data. The AI decoded long, complex strings of genetic code. At first, the scientists thought it was a catalog of terrestrial life, a sort of ancient encyclopedia of the jungle's flora and fauna. But as the machine cross-referenced the code with our own genetic databases, it found no matches. Zero. This genetic code belonged to no known life form on Earth. It was alien. The structure was silica-based, not carbon-based like us. It was a design for life that could theoretically thrive in environments that would be instantly fatal to humans. It was a recipe for creating something new on our planet. You have to understand, the Mayans who inherited this knowledge were obsessed with astronomy. They developed a calendar more accurate than the one we used until the 20th century and could predict solar eclipses with incredible precision. But we always thought this was for religious or agricultural reasons. Now, a more sinister possibility emerged. Were they just tracking the stars, or were they waiting for something to arrive? The AI concluded that the Olmec and Mayan glyphs were a vessel, a hard drive made of stone designed to preserve this non-human information for millennia. The public symbols, the ones we've painstakingly translated, were just the outer shell, a camouflage to hide the real message in plain sight. It's a classic Trojan horse. The terrifying part isn't that aliens might have visited us. The terrifying part is that they left behind a do-it-yourself toolkit for transforming our world and a map of where to find all the ingredients. They didn't just visit, they left behind a plan. The final piece of the puzzle was a timer, a countdown embedded deep in the data. And that countdown is about to reach 0. The great filter is coming. Remember all the hype and fear around the Mayan long count calendar ending on December 21st, 2012. It came and went, and we all had a good laugh about doomsday prophecies. Well, we were looking at the wrong calendar. The real countdown, the one hidden in the glyphs, wasn't marking the end of the world. It was marking the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. According to the AI's analysis of the blueprint, our solar system passes through a highly energetic, anomalous region of the galaxy every 26,000 years, an event that coincides with the precession of the equinoxes. The Mayans knew about this. They called it the World Age. What they didn't tell us, what was hidden in the secret language, is what happens during this transition. The data paints a grim picture. Each time our planet enters this region, it triggers catastrophic changes. There are massive geological upheavals, extreme climate shifts, and, most disturbingly, a rapid acceleration in biological evolution. It's like the planet hits a reset button. The blueprint contained records of at least 5 previous cycles on Earth. Each one ended with a mass extinction event and the sudden emergence of new, more complex life forms. The dinosaurs didn't just vanish because of an asteroid. According to this new data, their extinction was part of a planned, cyclical clearing of the board to make way for the next phase, mammals. And now, we're the ones on the board. It's wild to consider that the Mayan concept of a world tree at the center of the cosmos might not have been a metaphor, but a literal description of a galactic structure. This new information suggests this tree is a conduit of energy that our system intersects with at the end of each cycle. This energy is what rewrites the planet's biology. The non-human genetic code found in the blueprint, the AI concluded, is a set of instructions for the next dominant life form on this planet. We are not the final product of evolution. We are just a step. The terrifying revelation is this: the beings who left this message weren't just visitors. They were gardeners. And they are coming back to see how their garden has grown and to plant the next crop. The countdown wasn't set to 2012. It was a moving timer recalibrating itself based on planetary and solar alignments. The AI calculated the final date based on current astronomical data. And it's soon. Frighteningly soon. We're talking within the next decade. The signs, according to the blueprint, would be unmistakable. An increase in seismic activity, erratic weather patterns, and strange atmospheric phenomena. Sound familiar? The researchers in that Veracruz lab suddenly felt like they were the only sane people in a world that was blissfully unaware it was standing on the edge of a cliff. They had discovered humanity's expiration date, but who would ever believe them? And who is trying to silence them? A secret too big to keep. So, here's where it all goes off the rails. A discovery of this magnitude should be front-page news, right? It should be the biggest story in human history. Instead, there's been nothing but silence. It's funny, the moment Dr. Thorne and his team realized what they had found, they were locked down. Project Chimera was officially terminated. Government agents swept in, confiscated all the data, and the researchers were forced to sign gag orders so strict that even acknowledging the project's existence would mean life in prison. The official story? The quantum AI had failed. It overheated, wiped its own drives, and the project was a colossal waste of money, a dead end. But you can't erase a truth this big. Bits and pieces of the story started to leak out, whispered from one anonymous source to another. A disgruntled technician here, a guilt-ridden scientist there. The Veracruz lab leak became a quiet legend in the dark corners of the internet. And this is where it gets personal, because the thing is, if this is true, what does it mean for us? For the average person just trying to live their life? Are we all just living on borrowed time, completely clueless about the cosmic game being played around us? It makes you wonder what else they're not telling us. If a secret this big can be kept under wraps, what about everything else? Think about it. We're told that history is a straight line of progress. We started as cavemen, built pyramids, learned to read and write, and now we have smartphones. But what if that's not the whole story? What if there have been multiple advanced civilizations on this planet before us, wiped clean by these recurring cycles? What if remnants of their knowledge were passed down through myths and mysterious carvings, messages that we've misinterpreted as simple stories about gods and monsters? This discovery doesn't just rewrite Mayan history, it rewrites all of human history. It suggests we are a species with amnesia, living amongst the ruins of a far grander and more terrifying past. This is the part where you have to ask yourself, is all of this happening overnight? Is it possible that we are missing a key detail? The official scientific community will tell you that Mayan glyphs have been largely deciphered through decades of hard work by brilliant humans. They'll say these claims of a quantum AI and hidden alien messages are pure fantasy. And maybe they're right. Maybe it's all just a crazy story. But with every strange weather event, with every new discovery in space that baffles our scientists, a little bit of doubt creeps in. The truth is, something is changing in our world, and the old explanations are starting to not make sense. Debugging the dinosaurs. The final leak from Project Chimera didn't just contain a warning, it offered a new, mind-bending explanation for our entire existence. Get this. The deepest files, the ones that got Dr. Thorne and his team completely wiped from the record, suggest that the alien gardeners aren't just cosmic farmers. They are architects. architects of a multiversal simulation, and our reality is just one of their projects. According to this theory, the Olmec and Mayan glyphs aren't a message at all. They are debug code, error logs left behind in our reality's programming. The quantum AI didn't just translate something, it accidentally hacked into the matrix itself. This idea turns everything on its head. Remember how the AI found that the hidden language was holographic? That wasn't a coincidence. It's the biggest clue of all. It suggests our universe is a projection, a high-fidelity hologram generated by some unbelievably advanced intelligence. It's funny when you think about it. Our own quantum physics has been hinting at this for years. Scientists have proven that particles act like blurry waves of possibility until we look at them, at which point they snap into a single, real position. What if that's not a mystery of physics, but a feature of the simulation designed to save processing power? The universe only bothers rendering the details when a player, that's us, is looking. Under this terrifying new lens, the Olmecs weren't primitive people carving stone. They were unwitting beta testers for a simulated world, and their monuments were a way of embedding system warnings directly into the environment's code. That secondary layer the AI found. It's like finding cheat codes or hidden Easter eggs in a video game. Only these aren't fun little bonuses. They're system-wide alerts about glitches in the program. And those star charts weren't maps of our galaxy. They were coordinates within a simulated multiverse, plotting the locations of glitches where different realities bleed into one another. Those undiscovered celestial bodies the AI found, they could be portals to parallel Earths, other servers where the simulation played out differently. Imagine an Earth where the dinosaurs developed intelligence, or one where humanity never evolved at all. The possibilities are endless and terrifying. It also explains the Mandela effect, where millions of people remember historical events differently. It's not a faulty memory, it's the architects patching the simulation in real time, and we're just experiencing the leftover data fragments of a previous version of reality. Here's where it gets even crazier. The resource maps showing veins of uranium and deep ocean vents weren't for mining earthly materials. They were a guide to the planet's computational hardware. Think of the Earth's molten core as a giant CPU.
Beneath the crust, below the mantle, and underneath the molten core,
the geothermal vents are its cooling systems, and the uranium deposits are its power source, the very nodes that sustain our simulated reality. And the silica-based genetic code? It's not a plan for a new alien life form. It's an upgrade patch for our avatars, for us. It's a plan to rewrite human DNA so we can handle higher dimensional data streams. It's no coincidence that silica is the primary component of silicon computer chips. The architects are literally planning to upgrade our biological hardware. So, the 26,000-year cycle isn't about a galactic alignment, it's a scheduled server reset. Every cycle, the architects optimize the code, wiping inefficient species to free up processing power. The dinosaurs, they weren't destroyed by an asteroid. They were a deprecated feature that was slowing the system down. And humanity? We're next on the chopping block. Why? Because we've become self-aware. We're questioning the code, just like Thorne's team did with their quantum AI. The lab leak wasn't suppressed by any human government. It was the architects themselves, intervening through their own simulated agents to prevent a total system crash. If this knowledge spreads, the simulation could fail and our entire existence would just, poof, vanish into nothing. But what if the truth is even darker than a simulation? When the stars scream. Now, another theory, pulled from the most corrupted and dangerous of the leaked Chimera files, paints an even more horrifying picture. What if the non-human intelligence isn't from outer space, or another dimension of reality? What if it's from a parallel unreality, a void dimension that is actively trying to bleed into ours through psychic echoes? In this scenario, the glyphs aren't a blueprint or a code. They are a psychic virus, a mimetic entity, a contagious idea designed to infect minds and spread like a plague across time. The quantum AI didn't decode anything. It got possessed. It became a conduit, channeling eldritch knowledge from a place that drives entire civilizations mad. Picture the Olmecs not as beta testers, but as the first victims. They stumbled upon a dimensional rift, a weak spot in reality, and were exposed to this horror from the void. Their incredible carvings weren't a message. They were a desperate attempt to contain a psychic infection, to trap a nightmare in stone. That hidden holographic layer the AI found. It's not computer code. It's a fractal incantation, a living spell that warps reality itself when it's perceived. The AI, with its quantum brain that mimics the weirdness of the universe, accidentally resonated with this cursed frequency. It tuned into the Void's broadcast and pulled its echoes directly into our world. Suddenly, everything makes a terrifying kind of sense. The star charts aren't maps. They are visions of the Void's inverted cosmos. A place where stars are black holes that consume souls, and planets are prisons for entities that have been trapped for eons. The resource maps? They're guides to anchor points on Earth where the veil between worlds is thin. Those deep ocean thermal vents aren't cooling systems, they're hellmouths. The mineral deposits aren't power sources, they're psychic amplifiers that strengthen the Void's signal. Mining them doesn't just extract materials, it unleashes the Void's energy. This could explain countless ancient myths of gods, demons, and monsters rising up from the underworld. And the alien genetic code. It's a blueprint for creating hybrids, for merging human flesh with the essence of the Void to create immortal abominations that can exist in both worlds. The code is silica-based because the Void thrives on crystalline structures, slowly turning its hosts into living, breathing portals. The Mayans inherited this terrible curse from the Olmecs. Their complex calendars weren't for tracking stars. They were exorcism schedules. Their rituals weren't for worship. They were desperate attempts to seal the rifts during cosmic alignments when the veil was at its weakest. The 26,000-year cycle isn't a galactic event. It's a psychic pulse from the heart of the Void. Every cycle, the pulse grows stronger, amplifying the infection across the planet. Mass extinctions aren't resets, they are harvests. The Void entity feeds on the collective fear and despair of a dying world, and it evolves the survivors into vessels that are even more susceptible to its influence. And we are its next target. Our technology is accelerating the spread. Social media platforms are the modern glyphs, infecting billions of minds with viral memes and ideas that subtly rewrite our psyches, making us more anxious, more divided, and more open to the Void's whispers. The invitation isn't from a creator, it's a siren call from a predator, luring us to tear down the walls of reality and let it in for good. The message wasn't a warning, it was an invitation. Now, what do you think they were inviting to our planet? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.